So if anybody that I know, a lot of people watch the videos, they won't come here and they dyno and stuff and spend the day with Larson. But if you guys are ever wrenching on anything, the best way to put his tools back, so like say you grab one of these nice new wrench, if you grab it, just throw it back in his box and close it as hard as you possibly can. It really just makes his day a lot better, makes him more stable, better tuning, all that kind of stuff. So if you're here, just a little tip. Hey guys, so a little bit of a project that I have been, decent sized project that I've been working on after hours and stuff is my own personal truck. And just kind of give you a little overview. I've gotten a lot of questions, just kind of like what we're doing with it and whatnot. So basically we left all the factory interior in it, everything, but I ended up doing a factory frame floor link with the stock bed floor and everything in it. So try not to really cut it up because I still want to drive it on the road a bunch. Put an 850 cage in it through the dash, so retain the factory dash, all AC, all that kind of stuff, all the bells and whistles, but a little more in-depth on what we ended up doing under the hood. So I guess main power plant wise, ended up doing a D&J Enforcer. That's with FSR pistons, billet rods, deck plate engine. So that's kind of the heart of it. Other than that, it has a whole extra G fuel system. 400%, and I stayed with a single pump, so it still has a single 14 mil race pump on it. That's what I ran last year. We put the big stage 4, the new intake on it, which was fun fitting in a factory engine bay. But other than that, got all that stuff taken care of. Air side of it, it has an 8093 10 on the manifold. It's still T4 foot. And then out front, I have a HX82 based. It's a 103 at the front of the wheel. And it's a 132 or something big. It's something large, basically. It came from Josh Scruggs, if that tells you anything. Then other than that, really, whole fuel system, basically redid all that, moved the battery to the bed, redid the factory engine harness, took out some of that stuff that I'm not going to need, cleaned it up a bunch, put new loom in it. Derek and Brandon, the guys that actually own Firepunk Engineering, the ones that make all the anteaters, porcupines, all that stuff, they went through the harness, took the transmission side of it out, so now the trans is strictly controlled just by an anteater, doesn't have the TV motor and everything that came factory with an 06. So that is pretty much on that. Used our billet water neck stuff, so it's all AN braided hose for the coolant necks. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. That's kind of the main goal of everything here. It has, so we're keeping the factory gauges in it and everything, but for logging and stuff, I know with as much money and everything that I've spent on an engine, I kind of wanted to make sure everything was still going to stay happy. So Phil from Extra G has kind of been helping some. I end up buying an AEM logger, so that'll pretty much kind of take place. It's just a 5-inch LCD screen, so that's going to take care of my boost, my EGT, drive, intake air temps, transmission line pressure, trans temp, basically everything that I want to see in a log making a pass. It's kind of more of a budget-friendly deal. So bought a bunch of parts and pieces from AEM to try out their new deal that they have, relatively new. Nitrous Express hooked us up with a Maximizer 5 for it, and a couple 375 solenoids, so we can spray it when we want to go really fast. So yeah, that's pretty much the short list of everything that we've done. I think we're going to try to dyno it here today. We're going to go to Thunder in the Bunker, which is it's in Kokomo, Indiana. That's going to be kind of where I'm going to go for the first time and see if it does whatever it does. I have no idea, so we'll see. But hopefully it goes down and stays in one piece. Oh, that one's making it taller. This is the new trend here, this nice hood stack. This is Cody's most prized artwork of welding. No, not really, but this is actually an old stack off the S10, but because of his other stack coming up here, and he didn't want us to mess it up by putting an extension on so we can get our hood stack exhaust pipe on, we made do for the dyno. So we're going to make a couple rips on this thing today and see what kind of power we can make. Look at that. Teamwork.
Good job.
Makes the dream work.
polish your most prized welding?
Well, Dylan from DNR made this setup for us. It works pretty good. He's only been welding for a couple years. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is at this point. I mean, you can't really ask much from an Asian, so.
Hey, is that wastegate?
No,
why did you plummet to the bottom in the first place?
Because I'm retarded.
Apparently. So, I think the first tune I put in it, I want to just make it make like 400 horsepower and make it seem like something's wrong. Maybe turn pilot injection off, negative timing, so it just pops and bangs and sputters. Oh, he's coming in.
Pops and bangs. Ideally, right?
He'll think it's cool though, because he's just doing it for the gram anyway. The goal is to make so that this pipe doesn't blow off. Because if it blew off, it would probably make a couple more dents on his driver's side door. That's Cody why he's got dents in his door. It's all my fault. Because I parked things beside his truck and he couldn't see them. His like tint. This is why he can't see. Because he has way too much tint. And then he drives over things and ends up with nice dents down here because his windows are so dark. So Cody four-linked his truck, did a really nice job. It's still factory frame, so we can have the full bed, everything's still there, but he's got the suspension set up to where he should be able to get a lot better traction. The only thing that he's really missing is his teal diff cover looks less than desirable, but I don't know. It matches his boyfriend's, so. Okay, they got Cody's truck strapped down on the dyno, and we are going to make a couple passes on it. I know Cody has put a lot of hard work on this over the last couple months, and hopefully it pays off today. He's got a lot of proven parts on it, so we're going to put it through its paces, start on tune 1. You know, I've got the fuel pulled back like 900 microseconds, see if it makes around, I don't know, 900 horsepower. And then we'll slowly work our way up. Today I think we're going to be doing just fuel only, just trying to make sure that the setup's working right, coolant temp staying in place, no leaks. He's made 20 pounds of boost or so on the street, but so far hasn't really made any wide open throttle pulls, so this is really going to be the first test for the whole setup. So hopefully everything goes good, and stay tuned and hopefully make some good horsepower numbers for you here in a little bit. Okay, first select did 1,016 horsepower, 1,245 torque, but there's some fuel leaking from the rail line, so they're going through and just putting a wrench on all the lines. I saw the CP3 current came way down, so it's using more fuel than what it should have with the injectors turned way down. We'll fix the fuel leak and turn it up and run it again.
Is Logan going to be Cody's daddy at the end of the day, or does Cody have what it takes to beat 1544?
Tightened up all the lines, but it's the rail pressure sensor in the back. So second round made 750 horsepower, but I let out of it because I saw that it was spraying fuel. So hopefully third time's a charm on tune 1. Cody, come here. It's not making a lot of power yet. Well, actually, it's making really good power for what it is. But the CP3 is going wide open, and it's made 1,050 at 1,000 microseconds, which is not bad. It's right on power, but I can't turn it up because we're out of pump. Well, obviously we're not out of pump, so he's going to pull the rail and retorque the feed tubes. Maybe you didn't torque the feed tubes right.
I know I torqued the feed tubes.
So I guess we'll have to turn a couple more wrenches and then we'll make power again. at that. We have the single CP3 high horsepower record that we set today. That was at 1,704 horsepower and 1,909 foot-pounds of torque. For a single Exergy 14 mil pump, that is doing great. But with 400% over injectors, we can keep the injector pulse width lower. That was at 1,400 microseconds, so that is a shorter amount of time that the injector is energized, which gives the CP3 a little more time between strokes to recharge the rail. We tried going up to 1,500 and 1,600 microseconds, and it made like 10, 20 horsepower less just because the rail was not able to make peak rail pressure. So we were very happy with the setup. Obviously the 480 and 103 millimeter hole set turbo setup are doing very well because that was at 80 pounds of boost. The truck is very happy with it. Like, I don't see anything that's pushing really hard. Cody wants to be able to turn nitrous on, be able to spray this setup to 2,000 horsepower. I don't think it'll be any problem to throw 300 horsepower with a nitrous into this mix. I'd say he's got himself a pretty good street hot rod. We're going to get this thing off the dyno, and he's going to get the thing to the track this weekend and hopefully see what kind of times he can lay down. A heavy truck on the drag strip, it's always a challenge to apply that power, but that is why he did the 4-link, and hopefully we can see if we can get a full weight street truck in the 5s.